The flood emergency continues across with Victoria, of course, with hundreds of homes now inundated. Our senior Victorian reporter Simon Love is in Maribyrnong in Melbourne suburbs. Simon, tell us how bad the situation is there.
Well, 500 homes at the very least across Melbourne have been inundated. Up to 500 more could be impacted, and they're going through right now. Those swiftwater rescue crews and also Fire Rescue Victoria crews are going through doing those assessments to see if that figure is much higher. Now, where I am right now is on the banks of the Maribyrnong River. That bridge there, Chris, the Rayleigh Road Bridge, our crews were actually on it earlier today reporting on this flood emergency, and then they were asked to leave because there are concerns for structural integrity of that bridge. So that leads into Maribyrnong, where many of the homes have gone under today. And there's also been some anger, Chris, about some of the warnings that were given to residents, because only yesterday the Victoria State Emergency Service expected 3 homes in Maribyrnong and this pub, this tavern, the Anglers Tavern, to go under. Well, that's obviously occurred, but more homes than that have certainly been inundated today. So there's certainly been some questions around that. A state of disaster has not also been declared in Victoria, although there are some emergency payments that have been made available. At least 2,000 Victorian residents have applied for them. The Premier, Daniel Andrews, has been up to central Victoria to see more, because the flood emergency is not just centred here in Melbourne, as close as we are to the CBD, Chris, but there are concerns for many towns up on the Campaspe River, Rochester as well, Seymour on the Goulburn River, with many outflows coming from Lake Eildon at the moment. So this is a crisis that is certainly not over at the moment, and certainly many residents here in Melbourne's northwest, they're out tonight seeing this once in a number of decades event.
Yeah, it's a shocker, Simon. We can see it's pretty sunny there now. Is the rain past for good? Are the waters receding, or is it still dicey in the 24 hours to come?
Funny you ask, because around about half an hour ago, a massive rainstorm just came in. Myself and a few residents had to take a fair bit of shelter, and it was probably a bit of an eerie feeling given that the water's so far up at the moment. But, you know, the way nature has its way, the sun's out. So, you know, people still trying to get in their evening walk or run or bike ride along this river, albeit pretty close to the water though.
Simon, thanks so much for that update. Simon Love there from Maribyrnong in Melbourne. 4 seasons in one day. As you heard there, still heavy rain showers, so watch and act carefully, not just in Melbourne, right across Victoria over the next 24 hours.